Cobra is on the loose, causing havoc and mayhem in their quest to control the world. Recruit your team of Joes and go on missions to defeat Cobra's sinister plans in G.I. Joe deck building game.
Hey gang, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Journeyman Dan, and today we're going to crank up the nostalgia feels with a review of G.I. Joe deck building game from Renegade Game Studios.
This is a 1 to 4 player, fully cooperative deck builder where you try to build your deck full of G.I. Joes and their equipment and vehicles in order to stop Cobra's plans. Let's jump in and take a look.
Set up the play area with your main stack of Joes, complications, story deck, mission decks, threat tracker, hanger, dice, and tokens.
Each player gets the same 9 cards in their starting deck, plus 1 unique leader card, and that leader's promoted card set off to the side.
On your turn, put the next story mission into play if there isn't one already there.
You can then choose to go on the story mission or any other missions that happen to be in play. Story missions are group missions that your friends can help with, but side missions are things that you have to face alone.
To go on a group mission, get a vehicle from the hangar and assign a Joe from your hand. You and your friends can then add more Joes to the mission as long as there's room in the vehicle. The Vamp is always put back in the hangar after a mission.
Each Joe can always add 1 wild skill, which gives you 1 die to roll on the mission. However, if your Joe has a skill that matches the mission, you get to roll however many dice are indicated on the skill instead.
Add up your skills and get ready to roll that many dice.
But wait! Complications are sure to arise and you have to turn them over and do whatever they say before you get to roll. These may make the mission harder, give side missions to individual players, or do other dastardly things.
Now that you've dealt with the complications, roll the dice and see how many hits you got. If you have enough, you defeat the mission and gain rewards. Failure brings further consequences.
You can then use all of your cards to buy cards from the market and put those on the top of your deck.
Once each player has taken a turn, the round ends with a threat marker moving up the track.
Continue playing rounds until you defeat the final story mission and win the game.
So to win, you have to defeat the final mission. However, you have 3 ways to lose. You lose if the G.I. Joe deck runs out, the threat marker reaches the final space, or if Cobra Battalion cards ever cover up all 6 from the Joe deck.
What? Cobra Battalion cards?
Yes, that is right. Those things are nasty little side missions that will come out during the game and they cover up your main deck that you're drawing from. You can't take those cards until you defeat them, but you have to defeat them on your own without the help of your friends.
A lot of cool stuff going on. Now I have to mention the art and aesthetics for this game for sure. They've done a really great job of capturing that comic book cartoon feel that we all grew up with. It looks just straight up really good. This comes with 2 missions that you can play. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so that was honestly the first thing that jumped out to me where I was like, oh no, is the replayability going to be there? But you play with 6 out of 15 mission cards at a time, so that really allows you to have some variability because they're different. You could play a lot of different games, and that's just from 1 mission, and you've got 2 to choose from. So you're choosing 6 out of 30, really.
Much. That is a bunch. They've got what feels like the classic Joes. They've got Duke and Roadblock, Scarlet, Lady J. They've also got a bunch of other characters like Muskrat and Ripcord, Beachhead, and of course you got to get Snake Eyes in there.
Snake Eyes.
Did you feel like the game was too easy, too hard? What was your takeaway?
I really felt like it hit a sweet spot where I was competitive. We were competitive as we went through the game. We in fact thought, we're going to win this. This feels really good around 7 or 8, and then all of a sudden just bam, the game just smashed us. But it was good. I didn't feel that soul-crushing experience like some co-ops can give you.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel like they did a really nice job of balancing that. You definitely want to help your teammates in the game,
yeah.
But you don't get to draw to replace any of the cards that you send out on a mission. So when it comes to your turn, you'll have a smaller hand to work with. It just makes it tough. What did you think about player count?
Player count, I really think this game probably shines more with 3 to 4 players. It plays well with 2. You can play it solo. There are some little tweaks that they make to the game, but it plays pretty much the same. Like with 1 player, you're taking 2 turns for every round, so you're not getting hammered every single round. But I do think that if you have a group of 3 or 4, you'll probably enjoy that more because there's more teamwork, more cards that can be thrown into the mix. Now, Will, what about the deck building mechanic and the vehicles?
Oh, I love the fact that when you buy a card, it goes on the top of your deck, so it's super helpful not to have to wait for it to shuffle through. And the vehicles are very cool because when you buy one, it goes into your deck. As soon as you actually draw it, then it goes out to the hanger for anyone to use, which is cool. And then whoever uses it shuffles it back into their deck, almost like it has to like refuel to be able to be used later in the game. It's very thematic. I like that little touch that makes you really evaluate, like, how badly do I want to use this special vehicle? All right, now we said a lot of good stuff about the game. Is there anything that you weren't as excited about?
Yeah, so first off, overall, I think the game was a lot of fun. Renegade did a great job with it. It looks great, it plays great. It is a good game. But I wasn't as crazy about the lack of synergy in deck building. This game is more like a Marvel Legendary than it is Dominion and just the way that it plays. But there isn't synergy. You play this card or you help a friend out. It's not like you're building an engine through your deck like some deck builders do.
Yeah, I can see that. I was a little bummed that just how minimal like the leaders were incorporated into the game. I would have loved to have had it in front of me the whole time, using its action over and over, instead of it just being something that got cycled through my deck. The leaders also seem to have very different power levels too. So even though like it didn't matter a whole lot in the interactions, I would have loved to have seen those together. Right, I would have still loved to have seen a little more balance between them, I guess.
Yeah, I think some promoted leaders are something like if you have a utility or an equipment card, you get an extra skill, which is a die roll. That's great, and you get to draw a card, which is great. But then you look at Dukes, and he gets to pull any card you want back from your discard pile.
Right.
Every Joe on the mission gets an additional die roll. It's just like, it's super powerful and it's great and you want that, but it kind of leaves the other leaders, it felt lacking a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, though, if you enjoy deck building games, if you're a fan of G.I. Joe, I think Renegade has put together a very solid game that I think you will enjoy. We're getting on the nitpicky levels on like those little tiny fine details, but had a great time with it. Definitely check out G.I. Joe Deck Builder from Renegade Games. And then, as always, thanks so much for following along, liking our videos, and subscribing here at Tantrum House.
And I'm Journeyman Dan, and today we're
part of a deck building game where you're going to be trying to stop Cobra or something.